And good evening, Possibility Wars fans. It is the 10th of July 2022, and we're getting ready to play again. We skipped the weekend of the 4th, specifically because it was Independence Day here in the States. So, 2 weeks ago, when we had stopped playing, Cyberknight Chess had been captured and was going to be transported to a facility for the Delphi Council. And because an EMP was used to knock out his cyberware temporarily, for which there is a nasty little surprise to be had, some of my players were really offended at that and decided to go with him to the Delphi Council warehouse to make sure that he wasn't going to be abused anymore. On top of that, Nightbird had to ensure that she had the ability to go to to be done with her previous daimyo and to be set up as daimyo basically to Queen Sebastian, so that she would become a Storm Knight and join the team. So tonight we're going to continue with Act 1, Dead Man's History, and also with Scene 1, or I'm sorry, Scene 2, Parkhurst Dossier. And we will get to that here in a few minutes. I don't think there's anything else to do, so let's get to it. So, we're going to kind of start, let's see, I started at the bottom 2 weeks ago. Let's start at the top. Connor, what do you remember? I know I always put you on the spot. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month.
Okay, so we just wrapped up with the case. We got him restrained. They used a defibrillator to shock him, and then driving him away in a van. And I suggested that the rest of you guys take a look in the apartment, and we started doing that.
Okay, Ginger?
Well, we finally managed to capture the man, but he mentioned that he didn't kill anybody. Someone had tried to break in. He was just there on a mission and for his pope. But that seems like bad news to me. Whatever the High Lords want, we need to stop.
Okay, all right, that's very true.
So I think it's important that Rios and Nightbird get everything they can from this guy.
Okay.
Well, the rest of us will real quickly finish our mission because we're beholden to the police officers that got us here.
Mm-hmm.
But if the High Lords are wanting something, it's in our best interest to stop it.
True. Very true. Okay, so let me, we're going to keep Rios and Nightbird together because they're separate groups, so I'm going to go with Remington next. What do you remember from 2 weeks ago?
I mean, everyone else kind of stated it.
For
the most part.
For the most part? Okay.
I mean, I don't think there's much else I could really say.
All right, then let's go with the other group. Catalia, what do you remember?
Thank you.
All right, so I know that I was following along with the van that took Chess because I was hoping to get more information. And could you remind me real quick what the names of the two police officers, the two, plot-relevant police officers we'd been dealing with were?
The two plot-relevant police officers. Okay, so there was Roderick Bouchard, who is the police captain. And then the investigator was Cynthia Dahmer. But they did not go with you to the warehouse. They stayed with Chris, Peaches, and Artorias. The two that went with you to the warehouse, who are not necessarily plot relevant, were Delphi agents.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay, anything else you remember?
There is.
Chess had been swearing on the name of his Pope that the information that he had, everything that he had said was true.
Okay.
I'm actually strongly suspicious that he wasn't the guy that we were actually looking for.
Can't pay for Catherine Place.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll clarify some things in a minute. Ross, what do you remember?
I remember we searched his apartment too and found some stuff, and we told the officer that they could have the glory for capturing him or whatever, but we were taking him to the Delphi Council, and then we took all the high tech gear and stuff we found in his apartment with us when we hauled him to the holding cell warehouse place that he's at. And I promised the council they could have this stuff, but I think we wanted to try to get some information off of it first.
Okay.
And we were also questioning Chase that we got some info from him about his plans and stuff previously. I didn't know if we wanted to do any more questioning or just let the council have him.
Okay. All right. Let me do a few clarification things, and then we're going to start out with Rios and Nightbird, kind of role-playing some things through, perhaps with chess. Not entirely certain how I'm going to run that yet.
And I officially joined the team because after our game, you and me had a little chat, and I talked with the council, and I'm now
officially on the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really had nothing else to do.
Thanks, Ross. Thanks. I got nothing better to do. Okay, so let's do a little bit of clarification for Rios and Nightbird. We're going to kind of start out with you two, and then I'll do some clarification for the other group, and then we'll come back to you two and kind of finish some things up. Okay, so Nightbird, you with Rios in tow on your motorcycle, I guess. Followed the van which Andon was riding in because there's no more room on the bike, and you got to the warehouse. Now I recall a couple of you were really angry last time we played because they used an electromagnetic pulse to neutralize temporarily Chess's cyberware, and you guys kind of misunderstood what I was doing, which is exactly what I designed to do. Okay, by the way, so your reactions were perfect. Okay, and I'm not being mean about that. I'm just saying that is exactly how I would have reacted if I thought they were shocking a victim into oblivion. Okay, but they really didn't, and they explained it to you that they were using that as an electromagnetic pulse to shut down his cyberware temporarily so that he wouldn't just suddenly wake up and kill everybody. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. And that's a really good thing. Let's see.
Well, I was also angry because it affected my gear too.
It did a little bit, but your gear is actually higher technology gear, so it had recovered by the time it got back to the warehouse. So no big deal on that one. Okay, so for Nightbird, they offered the ability to have your phone call with Quinn Sebastian, Sir Elaine Fisk, and a blonde-haired lady whose name I still have forgotten. I was going to look it up. She's a rather important individual in the Delphi Council, and she was in the story that removed both Dogfight and Mo temporarily to go and do their things because of various real life things going on. So let's see what else. So you got to do your phone call, and like you've already announced, have become a member, a solid member of the Delphi Council and the current team. Yay! And then let's see, Rios. I think you were just sitting there eating for the short term. Is that correct?
What?
I think you and Andon were just sitting there in the Storm Knight warehouse, more or less waiting for Chess to wake up, and they fed you.
Oh.
And
Yeah, that sounds fair enough.
of course, the same thing is available for Nightbird. That's not a problem. So, all right. So I'm going to come back to you two in a few minutes, especially after I make announcements about the changes to the Torg game system. And it won't take very long at all. Okay. Chris, Peaches, and Artorias, you had finished up with the apartment already and had agreed to return to the police station because, well, basically they're your ride, and you were going to get the van or SUV. I think it was an SUV that you guys got. Recover that and then possibly go on to the Parkhurst home. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You have not gotten to the police station yet. Okay. I'm gonna take care of that, like I said, in a few minutes. Now, changes to the Torg game system. Okay. Y'all pop open your character sheets if you would, please. There's some neat stuff.
Right.
You'll notice that fonts and stuff like that are larger and they're a little bit different than they were. That's one of the things. I'm gonna pop open. Oh no, I'm gonna pop open. Where's my guy at? Atherindy, so that I can kind of show you guys a little bit of a difference, not much of a difference. First off, at the upper right hand corner of your character sheets, go ahead and click on the open hand sign. Why does he still have that? He shouldn't have that one. Anyway, Atherindy shouldn't have any cards. Okay, so if you pop that open, you should have at least a couple of cards plus a Cosm card. Still, there were some major changes that went into the cards, again, but it should not have affected the hands that you have. Basically, all of the images should have been converted over to WebP by now, which is a lot smaller and a lot clearer than most of your other image types. So if any of you are devoid of cards, let me know. Okay. Down to your skills section toward the lower left, if you pop open your skills, you'll notice that missile weapons has been moved into your combat skills section. As it should always have been. It was in the other section for the longest time. But it has been changed now. Oh, hello. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Huh?
Fire, heavy weapons, melee weapons, and unarmed combat.
Yes,
right?
yes. All of the combat skills should be in that very top section now. Okay, except dodge. Dodge is its own thing. What's that?
No, I said Yepperuni.
Yepperuni. Okay. Down toward the lower right, you'll notice the box above perks now says attacks and powers instead of what it used to say, and you should see spells and psionics and stuff like that in that area, so you can go straight to that on the front end of the sheet. And then, of course, your perks are there as they always were. I've got some images to catch up on this guy. Okay, that's all right. Okay. Something cool. Go up to the right-hand side of your character picture on your character sheet, and everybody click defenses. and just hit roll down at the bottom. Oh, that's the one thing that I wanted to cover the most. Okay, now when the dice clear, look at the defenses word. Watch. Defenses now switches from blue to red and back, which are the Torg colors, blue and red. And then your active defense automatically put your bonuses in there. So your dodge is going to be higher than it was, etc. Now go over to the effects tab. And you'll see at the very top it says active defense, and it's got kind of a blue shield there.
Oh, cool.
And okay, now here's the deal. All of your active defenses are right there, and all of them are taken care of at the same time. Okay, that was kind of silly of me. Now go back to the main screen on your sheet, and click defenses again. Go to your stats tab on your sheet and click defenses again, and that takes all of your defenses back off. So active defense is actually effective now. Okay, but if you'll notice, for defenses, for your attributes, and for all of your skills, if you click on any of those, you do not have to hold down the shift key anymore to get the main screen. Okay. Now, for those of you, what's that?
I said, I see.
Okay, now here's the important thing. If you go over to the chat window, the two bubbles at the left-hand side of that's called your chat log at the upper right of the screen, and then scroll up to where it says Nan. It was a roll that Artorias did for Ice Burst 2 weeks ago, and the action total came up as Nan. That has been resolved. Okay, Nan means not a number, and that has already been resolved. You will not see that anymore. If you do not click on a target, you can still roll like normal, anything. However, if you click on a target and then you go to use a skill against it or a weapon, it's going to bring up that skills box, and it's going to give you a drop down that you can use. And you know what? Matter of fact, let me do this. Okay. See, do you guys see chess on the main Torg screen there? Over here? Uh-oh. Hello?
I see him.
Okay. Connor? Oh, say can you, Connor? Okay, got him. Okay, Ginger.
What do I need to do?
Okay, you don't need to do anything yet. Just take your mouse over the top of chess and hit T on your keyboard. Everyone, please do that. Okay, then go back to your character sheet. And
All right, and then go back to my character sheet.
Character sheet, okay. And then I want you to click the D20 for one of your weapons over in attacks and powers. Okay. You'll notice how the skill test window is a lot bigger. What's that, Ross?
Yeah. I was just saying I got the window. Yep.
Okay. Now, at the very top left, you're going to notice that the difficulty number does not just give you the very easy, standard, challenging, hard, very hard, and heroic, or near impossible. It also gives you a list of the things that you can actually target for that character, for that specific token. Mm-hmm. Okay, then you can put in any bonuses and penalties, whether you were walking or running, multi-action penalties, multi-target penalties, attack options, etc., and all of them work. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Okay, those are the big things that I wanted to tell you about as far as the character sheet. What's that?
So can I shoot you?
Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to answer those later. I wish I could mute them. Other channels are trying to talk to me. Okay, so now you can go back over chess and hit T again to release the target. But anytime you take a target, you're going to get that expanded list of possible things. And when you roll against that target, you're going to see if it gives you a failure or the type of success over here in the chat box. So you're talking some cool stuff. Okay, really cool stuff that came out about 5 hours ago. Okay, so getting back to things. Rios, Nightbird. What is it? You wanted to wait for Chess to kind of wake up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
Nightbird, just as you're finishing telling Rios about how you're now kind of officially a part of the Delphi Council and everything like that, Chess begins to stir. Okay, and for you in particular, Nightbird, you would not have expected him to begin stirring for a long time to come yet, like hours. Okay, it's been maybe 25, 30 minutes. Any suspicion about what that might be?
Might have something to do with cybernetics or something.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it does.
Something else. But they didn't EMP him, so I don't know if Sil alerts them, but I'll say, hey, it's waking up.
Okay, you tell that to the two guys,
Yeah.
the Delphi Council guys. Okay,
Yeah.
You can see them from where you're at. If you just turn your head to the right, you can look at them, and they're like sitting there playing some cards because they have nothing else to do right now. And both of them kind of turn around and look up and see that Chess is stirring. They're like, okay. They don't seem alarmed whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, it's in probably some containment thing. But,
okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm keeping alert.
So he starts speaking in French. I forgot. Do either of you speak French?
I do not think so.
Speak Japanese.
Well, yeah, Japanese and French are just so close.
This pains me for not being there right now. There's one favorite thing I like to say whenever he speaks a foreign language.
Uh-huh. And you're wearing a particular thing that helps you to translate all of that. So.
Yep.
And my character actually I think has French and Arabic, right?
It should be somewhere. That reminds me, I
speak Japanese and English. Yep.
Just one more territory I could.
Okay, so anyway, as he's starting to stir, he's speaking French, and you can tell it's French. You can't really tell what he's saying, but you're pretty sure there's at least one swear word in there, even though he is a cyber knight working for the cyber church, and should probably not be saying things like that. And finally, after about 2 or 3 minutes, and after Nightbird, announcing to the Delphi guys that he's awake, he finally comes to his senses and figures out how to speak English again. And he says, "Merde, what happened?" "Oh, that's what happened. Oh, praise Malraux for LifeLock. Oh." So he sits up very, very slowly, very cautiously. It's obvious that his head is ringing. Okay, what do the two of you do?
May I bring him a glass of water?
I don't know, may you?
That's what I'm asking you.
If it's your character, I'm not going to limit you to do anything. So if you
God, reminds me of school.
Right, bring him a glass of water.
Okay, so you take a glass of water to him. He says merci, and I do terrible French. Anyway, he says merci and takes the glass and just sucks it right down. He says, I am so dry.
What?
I do great French.
May I?
Alec.
Do you give up or no?
Okay.
Blair actually speaks French in real life, and
Oh.
he's doing the peanut gallery in the background.
Well, like I
mean,
said,
I know a little French still.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's from back in high school.
Oh, for you personally, but not your character?
Yeah, me personally.
Ah, okay.
but not with you.
Okay. Well, that's just too bad, Ross. You. So, being able to speak a little bit, you might have understood a word or two if Nightbird's education was anything like yours, and which, based on the technology she comes from, the realm she comes from, probably a little bit more, maybe even some biofeedback training. But anyway, he says thank you very much as he's handing the plastic solo cup back to you, Rios, and he says they had to use EMP, did they not?
Yeah, I tried to get him not to, but
Yes, I'm afraid so.
they it was a precaution thing.
Well, believe me, it was a proper precaution to take. I would have taken the same. Now, release me. You must let me
Unfortunately,
go.
You can't do that.
Why?
You have to answer for the people you kill.
Again, I didn't kill anybody.
And the things we found about you hunting these individuals in this item as well.
You so
The
misunderstand.
Council wants to speak to you.
Perhaps they will let me go when
Oh,
they
yeah,
find
they
out
might.
the information I have. Oh. But I'm not going to give any to you because you won't let me go.
Well, then you're going to have to speak to them then.
Yes, I guess so.
If you're not going to cooperate with me, then I gave you that option earlier, but you forced me to take you in, so because you didn't want to cooperate.
I will call that fair, but if we meet again, you may not like my response.
We meet again, I will kill you if I need to.
You won't want to,
I
though.
did. Well, you won't want to mess with me either.
All right. So at that point, he basically just clams up. He's not.
Yeah, I figured you was going to play this game. So, the council can torture him.
And
if they do.
if you want to try and talk to the DC guys and see if they can do anything to help you, they just explain we are under orders not to touch him, not to go near him. We can't limit you, but we can limit ourselves. And
well, I gave him honorable chances to work his way out of this, and he chose not to. So, yeah.
Should I perhaps ask the DC guys
I'm not
if I
here
may
to
speak with whoever is in charge of this investigation?
okay, wait a minute. Are you, Catherine and Ross? Are you two hearing each other at all?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it.
Okay.
I just started talking, and then she started talking.
Okay.
So I didn't realize she was going to say something.
Okay. All right. Catherine, hold on just a moment. Let me finish up with Ross real quick. Okay. Thank you. Ross, what were you saying again? I couldn't hear a word. So.
Oh, I was just saying that I'm not gonna torture him or anything. That's not her thing. She's
Well, and
she don't care. She wants to fight with honor.
And the Delphi. The Delphi guys are like, we're not going to torture him either.
No. So, if he doesn't want to willingly talk with me to help his case, he can, talk with the council then.
Okay. All right, Catherine.
Or Catherine's character can talk to him.
Cat?
So, I would like to ask the DC guys for a method of contacting whoever is in charge of this particular investigation so we can maybe make a deal. Because nobody's going to go anywhere until we can have some kind of negotiation, because all he really seems to want is to be set free here. So, I'm thinking if we can find a way to use that as our bargaining chip, we can get information.
And the guys sitting there are like, well, there's the phone. I can dial the lead investigator up for you, but he's in the air right now. Let's switch that up. She's in the air right now. Because I know who it's going to be.
I see. Well then, when would be the most ideal time to make that call?
You can try now, but I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to get through. Do you want to try now?
Well, I mean they're coming here, so.
Yeah, but they've still got more than an hour of flight time left. The guy reports.
I see.
Because they're coming from Houston. Okay. All right. He goes over to the computer system he's got, and he types in a quick code and makes sure that he keeps the keyboard covered so you can't see the code. And then he uses the remote control to flip the television on, and there is a kind of a ball camera on top that swivels around very quickly and locks in on you. And for the next probably 15 to 20 seconds, there's what would it be? Do you know how a kind of an internet transfer graphic works, where it's got like a server in the middle, your computer on one side, and then like the receiver on the other side, and it just has a dot going back and forth? Have you ever seen that before? On the screen?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well...
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, it's like I said, it's got a picture of a computer that says sending station, a picture of a computer on the opposite side that says receiving station. They're only about 6 inches apart, and then in the middle there's a big white block, and there's dots that go between each of the stations and that block, back and forth. This is 2017, so got to kind of deal with what I remember from that technology a whole 5 years ago. Anyway, like I said, it goes for about 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and then the guy, just shuts it off and turns the television off, and he says, yeah, they're in the air. They're not going to be able to receive for another hour. What do you want to do?
I see. Well, perhaps I could do a bit more looking into the other side of this case by myself, so that I have some information to go on when negotiations finally open up, but once we have contact with them.
There's another side to this case?
Yeah, the side that, Chess does not know about. The reason why we were called here in the first place. I would like to look more into it, see if there's any details we missed in our initial briefing.
Okay. I have at it, I guess. Do you need anything from us?
Just as many case files as you have on the subject.
You can look in, well, no, you can't look in the computer, can you? So the guy that was working the television kind of exhales, okay, and he goes over to the computer again, and he starts, he gets into the internet to connect to home base in Houston. And he says, okay, what specifically are you looking for?
The incident in the warehouse, especially. If the bodies of the two intruders that Chess said that he killed have been found yet, just to make sure that they're different from the two dead bodies that we were initially investigating. And any files on witness reports, if anybody heard anything or whatnot, any evidence found in the warehouse, and if they happen to have a file on the dossier that they found in Chess's apartment, I would like that as well.
I'm afraid we're not going to have any of that information yet. The police in this area probably still haven't even processed that information yet. So your best bet is to go and talk with them.
All right. Seems I have an errand to run. I shall be back shortly.
Okay. Now, Nightbird, you hear all of this. Are you going to stay at the warehouse, or are you going to go with her? And since she doesn't have a driver's license and probably doesn't know how to drive an American vehicle, or any vehicle.
She's not taking my bike anyway.
Well, no, she wouldn't know how to ride it.
That's what Uber and taxis are for. He's gonna be secure here. So if I leave, I'm not gonna have you call me and say he escaped.
Yeah, he's not getting out of that cage. It's not gonna happen.
Alright. Well, let me know when I get here to pick him up then. Alright. So I guess I'll race him back to the police station.
Okay. Alright, so
Break all the traffic laws.
Well, okay, well then in that case, all of you...
Well, I mean, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well then this is going to be relevant for all of you. First off, it's the end of the scene. Okay, so we need to take care of end of scene stuff. Let me get this open. General game information. Advancement and completion. All right, so I'm going to share this with you guys. Scroll down. Once you get this, it should say advancement and completion at the very top. Scroll down to completion. We are ending a scene, so all players shuffle their pools back into their hands. If you've got any cards that are marked as being in your pool, you need to unmark them. And if you need instructions on how to do that, let me know. Okay. Step 2. Players with a hand of less than 4 cards get to grab up to 4. Just hit the plus destiny cards at the top for each card that you want. Okay, and don't forget you can only go up to 4.
Yeah, so if we have 2, we add 2.
Correct. Let's see.
Okay, so it's 4 destiny cards and 1 cosm card, correct?
You should only get 1 cosm card right now. Okay, for the act.
And then 4 destiny cards, correct?
Correct. You should have a total of 4 destiny cards. If you had more than 4 cards, you discard down to 4. If you had under 4 cards, you draw up to 4 cards. Okay, but you don't get rid of any yet. Okay, I want to kind of go over a step real quick. Once step 2 is announced, and this is for future purposes, once step 2 is announced, players may no longer exchange cards for possibilities. So this is going to kind of be your last warning. That's why I showed you the advancement and completion page. I'm going to presume all of you got to see it. I hope you did. Permissions, configure permissions. Let's make sure. Yep, everybody's an observer, so you're all good. So you can exchange cards for possibilities up to the end of a scene if you've got cards that you can do that with, but it's in the text of the card itself. Okay, anybody need any help with that? All right, step 3, players with a hand of more than 4 cards must choose which cards to discard down to 4. Now, wait a minute. Oh, that was all players shuffle their pools back into their hands. Players with a hand of less than 4 draw up to 4. Players with a hand of more than 4 must choose which cards to discard down to 4 unless they have a perk or card that allows otherwise, or completed a glory card in the previous act, as long as it was a dramatic. You can only do glory cards, I guess, in a dramatic scene now, which is weird. You used to be able to do them in all kinds of scenes. But it kind of makes sense, too, limiting it to a dramatic scene. Okay, anybody need any help with that? Getting down to 4 or up to 5 if you have... Oh, I forgot what the perk was that allows you to have 5. Anyway, item number 4. Each player then has an option to discard one of the cards that you have remaining. Should be 4 cards. If you have one in particular you don't like, for the ability to draw or be dealt another card. Does anybody have a card in particular they don't like?
I do. I have one called Step A.
Okay. That could actually be handy for a DSR.
It is if we're in a dramatic skill resolution, but if we're just starting adventure, I don't think it starts with one, does it?
Not necessarily. If you want to discard Step A, do you remember how to do that?
Let me see. No, not
okay.
All these.
Are you on enhanced display or are you on regular display?
In display. I'm going to uncheck that.
Okay, you've just unchecked that. So then in step A, you're going to follow that line all the way over to the right. Your hero card is still in your pool. There you go. Okay, and on the far right side, you're going to have 4 icons. There's play, show to all players, pass to, or discard. So go ahead and click the discard for step A. Okay.
All right, and draw the card, right?
Nope. Nope, that's it. Did you already play your card? Nope, your Cosm card is right there. It's called Spurred On. So now wait a minute. I think you're right. Yes, draw another Destiny card.
Yeah, we get to each player then has option to discard, and if they and then draw be dealt another card. So that's the phase I thought we were in.
Yes, and you are correct. I'm trying to think of too many things at one time. So all right.
No, I didn't. Something good.
Are there any questions about ending a scene before we go to the next one?
You're right here. Next. I'm sorry? I don't understand.
You understand?
All right. So we're going to scene 2, Parkhurst Dossier. And I'm going to...
We don't gain or do any possibilities right now, right?
Correct. That's at the end of the act.
Okay,
and we're only in scene 2 out of 4 scenes. Okay, so scene 2, Parkhurst Dossier. This is a standard scene, and you're in a core Earth pure zone. Okay, you return to the station house and see the desk sergeant deep in paperwork. He barely looks up, sighing as his eyeline returns to the glut of paperwork at hand after identifying your presence. Fans on the ceiling are whirring busily in an attempt to drive the heat the roof-mounted air conditioner is not able to wrest away. A lady officer rushes forward from Captain Bouchard's office and, passing all of you, she hands the folder to the captain. You immediately notice the Delphi Council 8-pointed dagger logo in the middle of the folder and priority clearance only printed in big bold letters, italicized, below that. Realizing support must have been transmitted to the local Delphi warehouse after you left it and rushed here while you were investigating the apartment murders, which is not true. It was sent by internet. Parkhurst, John adorns the jacket as well, beneath the clearance warning, and beneath that, a local address. Now, I want to share something. This is the Delphi Council symbol. It's not very clear, though. And it's an eight-pointed dagger star with an eye in the middle. That adorns the front of the jacket for Parkhurst. Captain Bouchard looks around the station house and, finally finding what he's looking for, urges all of you to follow him through a swinging half door designed as little more than a mid-wall high boundary into a less used portion of the station house, and then to a table in the far corner and at the back of the open cubicles where few people are at the moment. A large round table, normally for coffee and breaks in the midst of a shift, sits covered with real sugar, sugar substitutes, coffee stains, and several filthy mugs. Hang on, he explains as he walks to the coffee station sink, grabs some paper towels, wets them, and, red in the face from embarrassment at the poor care of this part of his station house, begins to wipe the table off with gusto, sweeping quite a few wrappers and crumbs to the floor as he seeks a new clean spot to set the folder down. If any of you, he explains as he continues to work, would like some coffee, there's a 1-cup machine and pods at the counter. Sugar and powdered creamer here, and some liquid creamer should be in the fridge. Help yourselves, but leave $1 or $2 between you and the can on the counter, please. Coffee ain't free. Setting the file down on the now cleanish table, he returns to the counter, grabs a pod and brews a cup, leaving his customary $1 behind. Once all of you have some sort of beverage, whether water or soda from the refrigerator or the proffered coffee, and have reconvened at the table Captain Bouchard chose, he opens the file for all of you to see. I don't have any images for that, but I do have a handout for one that's going to be important here in a minute. Within the folder are all sorts of information sheets about the victims of the attack, most of which has already been covered in the stories on the television and in any newspaper or internet article you've seen recently. The information you see about Wuhan and Atelkus Alhamabar was covered covered in the Council of Bishops dossier. The information you see, and you read this at the apartment, but it's now been verified by the Delphi Council, albeit in a different format. So it looks similar to what you see here, but there are, again, 2 different pages, and there's going to be little blips in wording here and there that are going to change, but in essence, it explains everything the same. Are there any questions about the information on Atelkus or Wuhan?
I read it.
Not that I can think of.
No, I'm starting to read it.
Okay.
I mean, I glanced at it originally, but...
Well, if anybody wants to refresh their memory, go ahead, take a moment, and we're going to get into the reason... It's going to be known to you anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you as a spoiler that Chess is actually not guilty, except of self-defense.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
No, he's actually just been outed by probably bad circumstances.
Mm-hmm. The bad circumstances being the 2 punks who tried to break into his apartment and he was defending himself, which, if you got into his TSE recorder and watched the footage he has there, it would tell you that too.
Well, yeah, but
50 shots.
it's not my job to read the recorder.
It's not my job, man. Okay, so Ginger and Ross, are you both done?
Yeah, I'm done reading it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. All right. Next in the file comes the coroner's report that Fisk detailed for Ginger at the beginning of the adventure, about before you were able to replenish and refit at the warehouse. The owner of the townhome, John Parkhurst, was run through his abdomen with a very sharp and precisely constructed blade, and Alhamabar was also cut and has burn holes through his body. Cynthia and Victoria Parkhurst, daughter and wife respectively, were also found with holes burned through their bodies in various locations, though the cause of death for Victoria was a broken neck from falling down the stairs from 3rd to 2nd floors. For these last two, the coroner's description about the holes is, quote-unquote, what can only be described as very precise welding torch burns which seem to penetrate in clean lines like a fired bullet both across and through the body. The 5th individual, the very muscular, hairy man, seems to have been sliced by another type of very sharp edge in straight lines, but also through multiple stab wounds from pinpoint up to just less than an inch in size, cut no less than 7 times and punctured no less than 30, all of which appear to be pre-mortem. The coroner fails to go beyond the descriptions he is able to give for the injuries and does not speculate. Pictures of all the wounds are included as well. For nearly everyone, the cut and stab marks are easy to discern as sword and knife cuts, the smaller wounds from other weapons not readily identifiable, but deadly to the receiver nonetheless. Okay, I need all of you to give me an evidence analysis roll. And I don't think there's going to be any modifiers to that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's, the target number is a 10. Actually, the target number is a 12. So you would, Ginger, do you want to throw a card or anything at that?
Let me see.
Okay.
Since I don't have that skill, what kind of roll would that be for me?
That would be mind. You could
Okay, I
you
thought
could
so.
click on the mind attribute, and it should give you the same ability.
All right, just standard roll.
Yep. Ooh, 10.
All right.
16.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I rolled
Okay.
a 6. Ouch.
Yeah.
Well,
11.
Okay, so Peaches, what were you thinking?
I was going to ask if anybody had a card, but 3 points won't make me succeed. It would only give me a 9. I'd need 2 supporter cards.
Well, that's okay. That's all right, because you're from Core Earth. I'll tell you in a moment what that's all about. Let's see. So, Chris, you made it.
And Nightbird did too.
No, actually, Nightbird did not, unless Ross wants to throw something at it. Ross, do you have
I have a +3 card.
Would you like to use that card?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and just click to play it. Okay, there you go. So then that's Chris, Nightbird. Let's see. Artorias did not make it. And okay, Artorias and Rios, do you have anything you think you might want to throw at? You know what? Never mind. Never mind. Don't throw anything at it. Okay, and I'll tell you why in just a moment.
This wouldn't.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm guessing that the technology we're dealing with is kind of beyond what we would know about.
a little bit, yeah, and I forgot that most of you are from Core Earth or Whoosh. Let's see, Chris, Peaches are from Core Earth, Nightbird from Pan-Pacifica, Rios from. No, wait a minute. Chris and Peaches from Core Earth, Rios from Whoosh, Artorias from Isle, and then Nightbird from Pan-Pacifica. Okay. All right. So nobody's from the Cyber Papacy. Nobody's from the Nile Empire. Okay. Chris. You are.
Yes.
Let's see. You are very certain that. How do I put this? As a former aerospace engineer, you will have seen a lot of science and a lot of engineering that will not have only applied to aircraft, but would also have applied to how various vehicles, weapons, armor, computers, things like that are made, how materials are done. So you're going to get the
within a system.
Yes, exactly. So you're going to get the same type of information Nightbird was able to get, which is the weapons. The weapons are very high tech, and from what you were able to observe was on Chess, from what you saw from his modem and his, or I should say his cyber deck and his antenna. The materials that were used to make the kind of things happen that did happen are above cyber papacy levels. So that means Pan-Pacifica. So for Nightbird specifically, you see that the holes that burn through are from tightly bound laser beams. Cyber papacy lasers are going to be kind of messy. So you know that those are laser beams. You know that the multiple holes that you see in the pictures of the injuries are from shuriken, and the holes that were made by the shuriken have burns and stippling around them.